Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to July. Welcome to Friday. And for my Canadian friends, happy Canada Day. And for my American friends, happy early Independence Day. The next couple of days brings forward some amazing celebratory festive energies, and usually fireworks. So no matter where you're located in the world, you have that ability to tap into this fun. You can see the fireworks, the parades, the what haves you because of the wonders of the internet. Take some time to enjoy that energy, whether it's watching those fireworks or just enjoying some time outside, having a barbecue, just having some fun. That's what this weekend really brings a lot of us from North America. At least that's the energy that I always embrace this weekend. Which brings me into this week. This reading is for July 3rd to the 9th. I know, truly crazy, we are already into July. We are into that summer festivities. For this reading, I have chosen the Crystal Visions Tarot to embrace the passion, that zhuzh, that celebration. It's a very powerful deck. And I've incorporated it and embraced it with the Energy Oracle. There's a lot we can get done this week, even though many of us have a shorter week. So we need that very blunt energy. Let's get into this a bit. What can my friends expect from the week of July 3rd through the 9th? The Five of Cups, helping us to see what we need to see. We've seen this card. It's been a card that's come up a number of times in the last couple of weeks. Helping us to see what we should be focusing in on, rather than that heartache and pain, that gunk, the burden that we are focusing in on. So this week is going to help us with what we're missing. And add that passion, that intensity that we need. Right now, many of us are feeling kind of blah and just, is this it? I don't know if I can handle this. The King of Wands supports us in connecting into that inner passion, that inner flame, to bring forward that fulfillment we need, to give us that oomph and push that will help us to connect in more with that kind of harder to reach Holy Grail. Definitely help us to unpack that burden. The Ten of Wands talks about working harder than what we should, working harder than what's necessary, or burning ourselves out. I talked about that expectation and that demand. Well, it's slowly wearing us down. The King, those two cups, are going to help bring us up and out of that drudgery and into something that's going to be meaningful. It's going to give us that fulfillment, that joy, because that joy is going to be so important, especially as we transition into July or into Independence Day. There's a lot going on. Like I said, that celebratory energy, we can use that to our advantage. The Temperance, 14th card in the Major Arcana. We're looking at that balance. The Ten of Wands talks about how we feel overwhelmed and burdened. Well, that's because energetically, we're not too balanced. Most of us, our chakras are off. Most of us don't give equal amounts of energy to our emotional self, our spiritual self, as what we do to our physical self. And most of us don't see ourselves as a priority. We see others. So we're really burning the candle at multiple ends. This week is about rebalancing things, reigniting that passion for self, for our journey, for what we're doing, and unpacking some of that burden. Let's see how this week is going to play out. What can my friends expect from the beginning of the week? Now, some of us are going to be on a long weekend, which will help with that unpacking of that burden, giving ourselves that extra day. And I would really recommend that if you do have the day off, to, have that barbecue, have the fireworks, have that family time, but bring in some time over the weekend, some time to rejuvenate you, where you're not meeting other people's expectations and demands, that you're working on you, that you're giving yourself a little bit of time to rebalance you, to connect into stuff that really brings you joy. And some of us, working with our family and providing for our family brings us joy. But what else? Really, do some reflection. I encourage my friends to really take time at the beginning of the month to reflect on what you've accomplished and what you want to continue to accomplish. So that reflection, that intention will help. It's a good thing to do over the long weekend because you have a little bit of extra time. It'll help really connect into those Two of Cups, help you to unpack that burden, help you to start to rebalance you. Now, I know that's a lot, but it can be easily kind of accomplished. Break it down into smaller chunks. You don't have to do everything all at once. You can start to, give yourselves a little bit of time here and there. A little bit of time for reflection and intention. Okay, give yourself 15, 20 minutes, if that. Helping with that rebalancing and feeling stronger, have a meditation for balancing out your chakras. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel more grounded and more stable and more open to some of these aspects that have been there, but we've been kind of ignoring. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do have a lot of playlists for healings, for meditations. In my Just You and Me playlist, you will find that meditation for balancing out your chakras. It was done, I think, December 2020. All right, let's get into the beginning of the week. Starts off with the Dancer, the World. The 21st card in the Major Arcana talks about endings and a beginning. And I think that what we're looking at is the ending and the beginning of that 10 of Wands, that burden, that exhaustion, those missing pieces, that intention, that reflection, rebalancing you, taking that time. You don't have to do it all at the beginning of the week. You can start now. This is about stuff that we want to work on. Well, it doesn't say you have to do it at a specific time. This is coming. The more intention, the more energy, the more permission we give ourselves, the more we're going to get done, and the better we're going to feel. Giving yourself time to dance with this dancer. Take time for reflection, intentions, take time for you. Like I said, even before I flip the card, it's going to be important. Yes, we may enjoy working with our family and providing for our family and arranging these celebrations and time for self and rejuvenation. We have to also do that just for us, not for everybody else. That 10 of Wands is going to be, our Achilles heel. And then what about the middle of the week? What can my friends expect from the middle of the week? Now, In the middle of the week, I will be publishing my next Healing 101, which is on the sacral chakra. And I've said this before, I will be going slowly through the chakras till the end of the year, where I'm giving you that insight and that aha about the chakra. And then the following Tuesday, I publish a healing on that chakra. That way you can work with that specific chakra. So you will have that the following Tuesday, a healing on the sacral. The Empress, the third card in the major arcana. We have that abundance, that growth, and that fertility. When we take that time to work with the Dancer, and we start to reflect, we set those intentions, and we start to shift our energies and our perspective, you're going to see things start to shift in that fertility. You're going to see that growth. You're going to see that passion take over, and you're going to see the abundance and the possibilities come forward. You see these beautiful butterflies? That transition, that growth, that abundance is very apparent. The more you do for you over the next couple of days, the more rewards you will see in the middle of the week. Major Arcana, middle of the week. The Magician, the first card in the Major Arcana. That abundance, that growth, that prosperity is going to be in you. Understanding and knowing you, understanding and knowing your abilities. These are key elements. So making sure that we understand and get it. Because right now, we're not. We're missing the point. We're working ourselves to death. We have no passion. We have no connection. That energy flow is... So it's time to shift things and alter where that energy, where our intentions are going, and what we're paying attention to. In the middle of the week, we're going to see that really come forward. Actually, looking at it, it's Major Arcana-tastic. And what that means is, especially in the beginning and the middle of the week, we're having a major influence from the high vibration, that universal energy, really nudging us in a very specific direction, helping us to connect in to what we've been missing. All right, what about the end of the week? What can my friends expect from the end of the week? Apparently a lot. The King of Pentacles. Midas touch himself. Oh, sorry, that's the Knight of Pentacles. I'm reading it backwards. The Knight of Pentacles. Fantastic reminder of needing to have the strength, the willpower, and drive to work on you. Most knights, well, they're usually on a steed of some sort, but they're in varying stages of motion. The Knight of Swords is running headlong into the storm. The Knight of Pentacle, or the Knight of Wands, he's got a good canter on, and he's going. The Knight of Cups, he's kind of trotting along. He's like, do, I'm doing it my own way. Whereas the Knight of Pentacles is steadfast. He's worked on his field. He's worked on his home front. He's had that willpower and drive to do what was needed to be done so that he can see that growth and that development. So the end of the week, we will need to put some of those intentions, that planning into action. So when we do, back to the Major Arcana, the High Priestess. Again, those butterflies, right? That transition, it's there. She's one of the gatekeepers, the gatekeeper of knowledge. She usually holds the scroll of Torah, which is universal knowledge. We're looking at that hard work being paid off by that insight, that understanding of what we want to do. Because what we want to do as an individual, is an individual piece. What you find important, what you find pushes and drives you, that makes you feel good, is very different than what other people find exciting and, well, life-giving. So at the end of the week, you're going to feel that aha on an individual level. Like I said, this boy just kind of canters on his own. The Knight of Cups talks about the courage to dive into that emotional and intuitive state. He is very much considered the Knight of Love, kind of the Lancelot of the Knights. And it's that loving of self. Having that courage and that drive to do what is needed to be done, because no one else can do it. Now we do obviously have the Double Knights. They're the 12th card in the Minor Arcana. When you have that multiple 12, the angels are telling you to calm your mind and listen to that intuition. The 10 of Cups, reminding you that yes, we want to do some individual stuff, but we need to balance it off with that family, with that support. We were never meant to do this journey alone. So making sure that we take that time, well, at the end of the week. And I would also encourage throughout the week to connect in with those friends and family that are really important, that give you that life balance, that encourage you and nurture you. Some of this is going to be hard because we are asking either for help to deal with the burdens, those expectations, or we're starting to release stuff that, well, can also bring up some pain and some suffering. So making sure that you're taking that time and asking for the help you need. Because when we ask for that help, you'll be surprised at who's willing to help you out to do what. Who's willing to remind you of those amazing qualities, of the amazing person that you are. Because sometimes we get overcritical, especially at the beginning and the middle of the week, especially here where we're trying to reflect in and understand things. That's when our ego can easily come in and start to, well, manipulate things so that we're being overcritical of us, rather than really reflecting on what it is we've accomplished, what we want to achieve, where we want to go. So making sure that we have that balance. And sometimes having an outside input helps us with that balance. Okay. So what further support, guidance, and care can we share with my friends so they get the most out of the week of July 3rd through the 9th? The thinking woman. We need to use our head, not our heart center, to explore things, to reflect into things, to understand our situation, to look at what that burden is, to understand what would really support us in rekindling that inner fire, to help us see what it is we're missing, to help us put in those intentions to work on what we need to work on, balancing things, releasing things, so that we are focusing in on what's important rather than what's causing us pain. Again, we don't want to be overcritical. We do want to use those thinking pieces. So that balance. I think that's why that meditation where you're balancing out your chakras would be so helpful, because you're starting to, well, give yourself time for you. So you're starting to degunk and get rid of some of that buildup. but also you're balancing the two spheres of your brain, which helps you with that thinking. So you're thinking critically rather than being critical of self. Healer of the Ages reminds us that yes, we need to set those intentions. We need to, focus in on those positives. But we also need to heal ourselves from some of that heartache and pain because it's building and swelling. We don't want that. We want to focus in on the positive. We want to focus in on self. We want to build ourselves up rather than tear ourselves down, which is including in that healing. That's why I have so many healings and meditations this week. So Tuesday, so somewhere around here, I'm going to be publishing a meditation, it's a healing, an angel healing that I'm going to do, and it's going to come out on the 5th. So something that you can use throughout your week to help heal you. And like I said, I've got lots of healings. You can go through all my playlists and find something that is meaningful. That's going to be the key piece, is that it's meaningful. And this is very much reflected in this card, the Angel of Strength. This is very much connected into the Strength card, reminding us, like I was just saying, it has to be meaningful for you. You have to have connection to it. If you just do what other people are telling you to do because that works for them, it may not work for you. So you want to make sure that what you're doing brings meaning. It does what it's supposed to do. So if it's a balancing meditation, you feel good afterwards. If it's a healing meditation, you feel lighter afterwards. If not, it's not a tool that's working well for you. This is where you need to be using your head, that critical thinking. Not being overcritical, there's a difference. That critical thinking. Is it working? If not, what can you try that will help you? Contract. This card is a double-edged sword, like so many of them. Be wary of contracts this week, both in the physical and spiritual realms. You don't want to get into something without thinking it through. Because again, we're feeling overwhelmed. We're not focusing in on what we should be, which means it can be easy for people to manipulate us. And what we're agreeing to may not be for our best interest. So be mindful of that, especially as we're starting to really dig deep and work on self. That makes us very vulnerable. 2, we've signed contracts in the spirit form and in the physical form in past lifetimes that can impact us. You see a pattern that is being repeated over and over again, it may be something that you need to have looked at by a practitioner of the Akashic Records so that you can look at what contracts are relevant. And if we can start to release and get rid of and negate that contract. Because some of the contracts we've signed, we need to be released from them so that we can move forward. We're not getting stuck. We're not keeping with that momentum of burning ourselves out and just making ourselves feel worse. So if there are things that keep coming up and you've been working on them and it hasn't been something that you've been successful with, reach out. Somebody who does Akashic Record healing. You don't want to get into your Akashic Records to find out what you've done in the past lifetimes, because that's not always helpful, especially if you're trying to really focus in on you. That usually has a tendency to tell you how you've died. And that's never something that people really want. However, an Akashic Record healing, which there is a difference, you do want. If, and not everybody, because this is a group reading, will have contracts that they need to be wary of in past lifetimes or on the energetical level. So, but just be mindful this week of what you are looking at getting into, because you don't want to sign yourself up to something that is going to bring you more heartache and pain. Nobody has time for that. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me today. I hope that this gave you a good overview on what you can expect and what you need to work on in the week of July 3rd to the 9th. Now, if you did enjoy this reading, please remember to give it a thumbs up, as it helps people find me on the sea of YouTube. More importantly for you, don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot more guidance, support, healing, and teaching coming your way. And the best way to make sure that you don't miss out is to hit that subscribe button and that little red bell so you don't miss out on a video. Again, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a fantastic, phenomenal week. Until tomorrow, my friends.